Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining our Buddhism English sharing meeting this morning. The topic I have chosen is quite important to a lot of us, or to almost all of us. The title is How to Activate the Life of the Medicine King. Now, as we all know, the Medicine King is part of our life. It's inside us. But how do we bring out the power of the Medicine King? So the two things that I've seen in this subject are appreciation and confidence. If you can bring forth appreciation and confidence, then you can activate the life of the Medicine King to help yourself and to help your friends or your friends' family or your own family. Because lately, a lot of members text us and ask us to chant for their friends or their friends' families or their family. And even a very good member of mine, whom I have shakabuku'd 20 years ago, she successfully overcame 2 cases of cancer. And then yesterday I just learned that she had pneumonia and she was in the hospital for 11 days. And she went through a lot of challenges, but with a strong spirit, she came through. So this is why this subject might be interesting to everybody. Now, the content of this subject is taken from a dialogue between President Ikeda and Mr. Saito and Mr. Endo. So, Sensei says, President Toda had incredible confidence. In question and answer sessions, there would frequently be inquiries concerning illness. Often he would reply, "You mustn't ask. Will I get better? You will recover without fail as long as you continue practicing in earnest. If, on the other hand, you have doubts as to whether you will get better, then your prayers will not be answered. People's bodies are susceptible to such ailments as those of the stomach, including stomach ulcer, cancer, and lung disease. Because our bodies have the ability to become ill, they also possess the power to fix themselves." Mr. Saito said, "I understand that he would often scold people," he means Mr. Toda, "who would start out with a complaint." Now remember, in every one of our meetings, I will strongly object to people. I do not encourage people to complain. In fact, I do not like complaining. Okay, Mr. Toda says something like, "I'm not better yet, even though I have been chanting for some time." Says. When he heard someone speak of illness, President Toda would strictly correct the attitude in faith of those who craved only benefit while not practicing sincerely, or who would complain that they were not completely cured, even though they had seen some improvement. Here, I would add, so it's me talking now. I was talking to another member yesterday, 2 days ago, and she asked me about things that we're doing for Kosen Rufu, etc. And I very strongly told her that whatever we do in Kosen Rufu or contribution to the SGI or encourage other people, please do not have the intention of getting benefits to do so. Okay, this is not the right attitude. We do Kosen Rufu, encourage other people because of our compassion, our kindness to help people to become happy, not to gain benefits for ourselves. If you aim of getting benefits for yourself, well, yes, your effort pays, you get some benefit, but it's very, very limited. But if you do it out of your own will to help people happy, the benefits will come 1,000,000,000 times back to you. And also, when you get sick, if you get better, slightly better, you have to thank the Gohonsen. "Oh, thank you very much, I'm getting better." Tell you an example. I've been having slight diarrhea for the past 2 months. And I've seen a doctor, and he said, "Well, it's okay. You just take some medicine to help you stop that. Whenever you have diarrhea, you just take medicine to stop it. And this will last probably 2-3 months." but it's really bothering me. So I chanted to the Gohonsen that I would stop this diarrhea thing. And interesting enough, I forgot which meeting it was. I talked about my having diarrhea, and then one of the friends or the members said, "You mustn't take probiotics." Now that really woke me up, because I was told that probiotics is very good for the stomach, for the gut, and so forth. So I've been taking some very, very good probiotics from Korea, and I've been taking it for almost 4-6 months. Let me see, yeah, about 4 or 5 months. Nothing happened. It was very good. But only the past few months I've got diarrhea. And also another supplement, a healthy drink. So with this member mentioning this, I stopped the probiotics and the other supplement drink. And you know what? I'm getting better. And so the day when I don't feel like stomach problem or diarrhea, I would thank the Gohonsen. I said, "Oh, thank you very much. I'm getting better." Okay, although I'm still not 100%, then I thank the Gohonsen because I can feel that I'm getting better. And I must tell you that I think I'm okay now. So this is why it's so important to be thankful and not to complain. Even the slight progress, we have to be thankful for it. Okay, let me go on. Sensei says, "It's not a matter of form," he would say. "We need to pour our lives into praying to the Gohonsen. We need to engrave the Gohonsen in our lives. When we chant daimoku with true determination, as though offering up our very lives, we cannot fail to overcome any illness. It is completely unwise to think that you can cure any illness that even doctors at the very best of hospitals cannot cure without giving yourself completely to the Gohonsen." I still remember now, me talking now. A long time ago, about 10-20 years ago, I was very, very sick. I was very, very weak. So weak that I didn't have the energy to do anything. So I chanted to the Gohonsen, "I'm giving my life to you. All right? And I want energy to do things that I want to do, to enjoy life, and to do Kosen Rufu." This is how I prayed. And slowly and up till now, I'm getting much better. I do have the energy to do things that I do. So this is how I did. I remember, I said, "I'm giving up my life to you." That's all. Okay. So the Buddha is not obligated to provide a cure. How many hundreds of people have you introduced? Ask yourself, how many hundreds of people have you introduced to this Buddhism? How much have you helped your chapter flourish? How many people have you encouraged to chant? You should reflect on this. If you turn over a new leaf and then truly dedicate yourself to Kosen Rufu, staking your very life on it, Sensei says, then I can say with confidence that you will be cured without fail. He would also say, if your condition improves a little bit, you should feel appreciation from the depths of your heart. If, on the other hand, instead of feeling appreciation, you are disappointed because you have not improved more, and treat the Gohonsen as though it owes you a debt, that will not do. If you take action, yet forget your debt of gratitude, then even those areas that have improved will get worse. You must practice faith with abundant gratitude. Now, this doesn't even apply to sickness. It applies to everything in our life. We should practice with abundant gratitude, deeply appreciative of even the slightest improvement. If you have the attitude, "Please cure me quickly," just making demands without really devoting yourself, then the Gohonsen will be deaf to your prayers. Now, talking about myself again. Last year when I was in Hong Kong, for somehow I hurt my knees, and my knees have been quite sore and painful. I went to the acupuncturist, to the chiropractors and everybody, and the physios didn't help much. And well, it didn't bother me that much, all right? But the past few days, the pain has gotten a bit strong. So I decided to call. I remember, now this is the benefit of attending meetings. I remember attending a meeting. A member said that she had knee pain, and then somebody helped her, maybe a chiropractor or something, helped or acupuncturist helped her, and she was better. So I called up this member and asked her. She said, yes, this person has helped me. And she gave me the name of the person who is a Vietnamese and who had helped her. So this person, I don't even know how to call him, chiropractor or whatever, I don't know. It's a 2 hours drive from my home. So I went there yesterday, very determined to get some cure. And actually, this Vietnamese doctor is quite interesting. He was so fast, no nonsense person. You just sat down there, he asked you, where's the pain? And I told, actually, you know what? I've got knee pains, I've got back pains, I've got shoulder pain. So I told him I've got all these pains. So he asked me to sit down and he started to adjust, well, my bone adjustment or something. And then I have to lie down on bed and he adjusted my back and my shoulder. I raised my arms and then I don't know what he did anyway to adjust my bones. And then afterwards, he put on medication. Actually, the member who introduced me to this person called me up beforehand and said, you must wear loose trousers because he's going to put medication on you. So I did. And then, yes, interestingly, he put patches of medication on my 2 knees, on my back, and on my shoulders. So there are 4 patches already. And he said, well, come back to me on a Sunday. You should feel better. And you know how much he charged me? $50. Whereas before I went to another acupuncturist, he charges me per area. So if I got 4 areas of pain, he would charge me $40, $50 per area. So but later on, because I think initially he was quite good, but then later on, I think he changed. He is after money. So even when I went to him, I paid, there was no cure. Every time I went to him, it would be over $100. So if I had gone to that doctor, it would cost me over $200. But this Vietnamese doctor only charged me $50. So I drove home and I took some fit. And he was quite professional, you know, the way he put the patches on my knee, and then he also put some kind of knee protector to protect the medicine. That was the first time I've ever come across something like that. So when I came home, I took a photo of my knees and I told my families about what happened. And then before I could go on with the explanation, my son Kevin called me. He was very concerned. He said, Mom, what's wrong with you? So I told him, no, nothing wrong. It's just a knee pain and so forth. And he asked me, how was it? I said, the medication seems pretty good. And I have to go to that doctor again on Sunday. And then my son, without hesitation, said, Mom, I'm going to drive you. I said, no need lah. I can drive, I can walk, there's not much problem. But he won't let me do it. He said, I'm going to drive you. I'm going to have lunch with you, and then I'll drive you there and I'll drive you home. You know how happy I felt? And then I thank the Gohansen. I thank everybody for the blessing I have. And in fact, honestly, I think my pain has lessened. It's not as painful as yesterday. So I'm very thankful. I even sent WhatsApp messages to tell everybody how happy and thankful I was. So this is my attitude. Whatever little thing that I get in life, I'm thankful. Okay, let me go on. This is how President Toda taught the faith of repaying one's debt of gratitude. That is exemplified by Bodhisattva Medicine King. When we base ourselves on the faith, the spirit of Bodhisattva Medicine King in our hearts springs into vigorous activity on our behalf. We need to pray with such determination as to cause all the cells in our bodies to renew themselves. We need to spur all 60 trillions of them into action. Sensei also says, although as a youth I was told that I would only live to about the age of 30, I have thoroughly exerted myself for Kosen Rufu and have, as a result, extended my life. Mr. Suda said, would you elaborate on this? Sensei says, overcoming the four sufferings of birth, old age, sickness, and death is not just a matter of theory. We mustn't move away from the issues of how we can lead healthy, fulfilling, and long lives, and how we can die without suffering. Now, remember, healthy, fulfilling, happy, and long lives. This should be our daily target. And also, die without suffering. Yeah, this is what I'm practicing. I'm chanting every day. Because my mother told me that as a woman, she faces two dangerous situations. It was in those days. The first one is when you give birth to a baby. The Chinese woman said, you're just one step away from hell, from death, when you're giving birth to babies. And then the second danger is death. You want to die a good death. You don't want to suffer. So my mother, after being introduced to this chanting, she chanted twice a day, very sincerely. And at that time, she had aneurysm in her heart, and the doctor said she would die anytime. But because of chanting, her faith was very sincere. She chanted and chanted, and she chanted for us, and she chanted for a lot of people. And of course, she has a very kind heart. And later on, she told me, she said, Lydia, I know I've got this problem, but she was feeling very okay then. She said, I want to die a good death. I don't want to be paralyzed. I don't want to have something, I don't know how to call it. I don't want to be on a wheelchair. So this is what I want, to go away. And then her life was extended for about 5, 6 years. And then one day in the morning, she went to the toilet and she fell down and she was gone. No pain, no suffering, no wheelchair. But again, we have to do a lot of good things to be able to get this benefit. Now, not because we want to get benefit, but we just have to do a lot of good things for our life to be able to die a good. This is very, very important, especially with middle-aged people. All right, let me go on. Mr. Ikeda says, other concepts also aim to control desires and harmonize the body and mind. Buddhist practice could be described as a health regimen for regulating the body and mind. Mr. Ando says, teachings certainly do cover the key points for maintaining a pure life. On the whole, by purifying ourselves through Buddhist practice, the original functions of our lives become more highly activated. For example, the practice established by Tien Tai entails 25 preparatory exercises. One of these, regulating the 5 matters, seems to be on one level concerned with maintaining good health, as it prescribes proper regulation of eating, sleeping, posture, breathing, and the mind. Sensei says, through regulating the body and mind, we establish a foundation for the practice of observing the mind. That is to say, for observing that one's own life is an entirety of 3,000 realms in a single moment of life. Good health is a necessary condition for awakening to the eternity of life. Only then can we perceive the universe in our own being. Thus, illness can throw the place of one's life into disorder. Health is a precious treasure. An acquaintance that had suffered from illness for many years once remarked, some people complain about being too busy and exhausted. But this person says, I can only imagine how wonderful it would be to be busy and exhausted, because you only have good health before you can start to live a busy life. It is to our advantage to accumulate as much good fortune and wisdom as we can while we are healthy. Buddhism is wisdom. Health is wisdom. Not begrudging one's life does not mean pushing oneself unreasonably. We cannot continue if we run ourselves into the ground. Now, I have seen a lot of people, including some of my family members. They worked and worked and worked and worked. I keep telling them, you are burning candles from both ends. Quite a few of my families are doing that. I said, you cannot do that, because when I was young, I did exactly the same, trying to push myself beyond my limit. So I got very, very sick. I used my life to try to make money to support my children, and my health was very badly affected. I was very, very sick. And now I have to use the money I earned to maintain my health, to become healthy. So this is the end result. So I keep telling my family members, please do not exert over your limit. Save some time to rest. Don't abuse your body. I think I'm talking to a lot of people too about this. I hope you will all bear in mind. Buddhism is reason. So you should have a balanced life. Work, rest, good food, entertainment. You have to have all this. Let me go on. Buddhism is reason. And unless we live wisely based on reason and in accord with the principle of faith, manifesting itself in daily life, our efforts will produce only anti-value. Our organization could not then be called a society for value creation. Based on reason, we need to maintain, develop and control our life force in accord with our age and circumstances. We have to become physicians of our own lives, the medicine king. To think that no harm can come to us just because we are practicing or because we are leaders in the organization is arrogance. I would say ignorance. In general, it could be said that the period of life through the 40s is a time of training. And after the 40s, we enter a period of preservation. It is important, therefore, that we exercise wisdom and are careful not to overextend ourselves. I do hope that my family would listen to what I'm saying today, honestly. Mr. Suda says, getting enough sleep is probably the best way to prevent exhaustion. Sensei says, that is right. Sleep is a kind of minor death. It is an activity in which our body and mind temporarily merge with the sea of the universal life. Through this rest, our life force is recharged, and we gain power to take action the next day. In the same way, death also helps us to recharge our life force. For someone whose body is old and sick, to return to the sea of revitalization of the universe, of the universal life, and then be reborn with a body full of new vitality may be the best thing to do. So please remember, death is not a horrible thing. It's for you to renew your energy, to get, like if you are tired of a worn dress, you're just getting a new dress. So it's not something terrible after all. But I have to emphasize, we have to die a good death. And in order to be able to die a good death, you have to do a lot of good things. You have to contribute yourself to help other people, okay, to get your benefits. Now again, I'm not saying that you want to get benefits before you help people. So this is the other way around. You help people out of your own heart for the people's good, and then the benefit will come to you. I keep on emphasizing this, okay? Well, what can be said with certainty, however, is that the person who maintains the faith of Bodhisattva Medicine King will enjoy still more good fortune in the next existence and be reborn in exactly the circumstances desired. Mr. Sato says, in the sutra's account of the previous existences of Bodhisattva Medicine King, Bodhisattva gladly seen by all living beings is reborn in the house of a king. Sensei says, the key point is which of the 10 worlds our lives melt into at the moment of death. Those whose life merge with the world of Buddhahood can be said to have attained eternal life, regardless of their age at the time of death. Now, please remember, it's general knowledge. It's very important that when we die with a smile on our face, with gratitude, with happiness, thinking that I have lived a fulfilled life. I've done everything in my life. I've been good to people. I've been good to myself. I have no regrets. Now, this is the word, I have no regrets. And then you go peacefully. And then you will be reborn in a very good place or family or very good world. But those who died with anger, with grudges, will be reborn in a very bad, if not hell or animality, will not be born in a good place, because when they die, they die with anger and grudges. That will affect their next life. Okay. These are people, talking about the people who died with the Buddhahood and a smile on their face. These are the people who have read the lifespan chapter with their lives and have developed the state of described by the line, he will know neither aging nor death. It doesn't matter to him because he knows life is eternal. On the other hand, if people live to a ripe old age, if in the end they enter the 3 evil paths or the 4 evil paths, then their lives will ultimately have been in vain and fruitless. From the standpoint of the eternity of life, the difference between 50 years and 70 years hardly amounts to an instant. Taking into account the concept of life over the 3 existences, the past, present, and future, everything depends on the extent to which we can establish the state of immortality, that is, the world of Buddhahood and faith, in our lives in this existence. I think we can say that this is the true measure of longevity. Mr. Ando says, that makes sense to me, for even if individuals should have a short life, as long as they have faith, they will be reborn immediately. Okay, my next subject is there are 3 types of challenges in life. The great French author Victor Hugo says, there are 3 types of challenges in life. Everyone faces trials in one way or another. Victor Hugo set out 3 ways of reacting to challenges. 1. We can simply give up and give in. 2. We can hide or distance ourselves from them. 3. Finally, we can tackle them head on. Our future will be radically different depending on the approach we take. When difficulty arises, some people give up immediately, saying that it's beyond them, saying, I can't do it, I cannot do it. Victor Hugo called these people weak and said their future was called impossible. There are those who avoid difficulties, seeking to ignore or deny them. Victor Hugo calls them timid, and their future is called the unknown. Only misfortune awaits them. Then there are those who courageously confront reality, refusing to be defeated. Victor Hugo calls them the thinkers and the heroic, and for them, the future is called the ideal. Their future will be radiant and magnificent. Therefore, please, don't try to complain or avoid your problems, because in Buddhism, challenges, difficulties, or problems are there to help you learn, to help you grow, so you can become a better person, so you can rise above to a higher level. So please remember, difficulties and challenges are just like exams that you take at the end of your year term. So you take the exam, Of course, before the exam, you have to study very, very hard. But if you pass the exam, then you go to the next level up. So please treat every problem or difficulty or challenges as just an exam you take in school. Go past, have the courage, and of course you have to work hard to study to overcome it. You have to do something. You don't just lie there and chant and then the problem will go away. You have to chant to take whatever action with wisdom and then overcome your problem. Because for me, I have overcome lots and lots of problems with chanting and end up in a better position. So this is how I view challenges now. And even with my knee pain, I cannot walk up and down the stairs now because it's so painful, but it's okay lah. And then I hold on to the rail and so forth. It's over a year. Now I'm determined to get this problem solved, and I will solve it. Okay, let me go to the next subject. Now, this is a subject that everybody talks day in and day out, but never underestimate this subject. It's called the power of daimoku. If you understand the power of daimoku and use other strategies, you will lose in the end. You can accumulate good fortune only when you fight for the Kozen Rufu without begrudging your life. Unless your prayers are united, your fight for Kozen Rufu cannot gain momentum. No matter what anybody says or does, nothing can defeat the power of daimoku. Daimoku is Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, if any newcomers in the meeting. But without action, you cannot call it faith. The Gohansen can penetrate through everything. Please remember, we have to take action. The proper action with wisdom, with the faith that everything will be okay at the end. The world of faith is very mystic. And once you become serious, you can gain 1,000 or 10,000 times more benefits. When you chant abundant daimoku, you have the power to even open the heaviest iron door that stands in your way. For example, you can overcome the most massive obstacles in your life. You can definitely change your negative karma. This is what I'm chanting every day, to change my negative karma, because I have not had good karma before, but it's changing now. And a lot of it has changed. The world of faith is the place where many of us, all of us, chant powerful daimoku in unity, thus creating power like the force of a huge wind. There is nothing but daimoku. Daimoku determines everything. Daimoku has more power than 1 million guidance or 1 million books of philosophy. Chant abundant daimoku and pray to the Gohansen. Ask the Gohansen whatever you need. Everything will come true as you wish, and the power of Kozen Rufu will open up in front of you. Everything depends upon how much daimoku you chant. When you chant a lot of daimoku, you will naturally feel that you need to study more. When you chant daimoku, your work will become more fulfilling and smoother. See, if you're having a lot of problem at work, your colleagues are bad or your superior is bad to you, chant daimoku. And of course, after chanting daimoku, you will know the reason why they are not good to you. Maybe it's because of your attitude, maybe it's because of something you said, or your work is not good enough. After chanting, you will know and take action to correct whatever it is that causes you the problem, and your problem will be solved and the situation will change. There may be times that we'll experience great sufferings and deep sorrow. There may be nights when tears will not stop flowing. There may also be times when you're terribly hurt. I have been terribly hurt, but it didn't affect my life at all. At such times, my heart will be, this is what Sensei says, my heart will be open to you. I'm always here to listen to you. I too will share tears with you. You don't need to tell me anything if you are happy. I can just tell by looking at your face. Just tell me about the problems and pains that you have. I will carry half of your heavy burden and walk together with you. I remember seeing an article saying that one day a member walked past and Sensei saw his face, and Sensei said, I know you are suffering. Tell me about your problem. So sensei cares people so much that he can tell from the face what that person is facing. Our lives have been stained by karma and destiny from the past, and encrusted with a layer of greed, anger, stupidity, arrogance, and doubt. That has built up over a vast period of time without being cleared away. When we devote ourselves to the Gohonzen, however, the law of Myo-ho will function to penetrate our lives and clear away the source of unhappiness. There is no need to envy anyone. There is no need to complain. If you uphold the Gohonzen and work for Kozen Rufu, your life will shine with the light of the eternal Buddha land. Those who can smile are strong. Remember, I kept asking people to smile. Smile is the greatest gift you can give to anybody and can elevate people's condition when you smile to them, and you will become very popular. People of faith and integrity are cheerful. Such people can face criticism and persecution with a dauntless smile. In contrast, those who constantly criticize, yet are incapable of creating anything of value themselves, are pitiful, wretched souls. In the end, they become miserable and disillusioned. Their faces are not lit by radiant smiles, nor do they have truly enjoyable and satisfying lives. Well, I've come across people who complain and criticize, and people just don't want to be with them because they are so negative. It is not our environment or circumstances, but our inner resolve that is important. Do not allow yourself to be preoccupied and held back by considerations of educational background, wealth, fame, or social position. Always advance in life based on faith. No matter what happens, this is the spirit of a Buddhist. I've come across a lot of members who said, I'm afraid to talk to people about chanting because they are so highly educated, they are so successful in life. I feel intimidated. Now, please don't, because when we talk about Nam-myoho Renge Kyo and Nichiren Buddhism, we are sharing with them a treasure in life. We should mention it with pride. Doesn't matter whether he's a professor or a scientist. There must be things like the mystic law that they don't know. So please do not feel shy to talk to them. Buddhism is primarily concerned with victory or defeat. Life is a contest. It's a contest you can either win or lose. It must be one or the other. If you lose, no manner of excuses will make up for it. Complaining will only make you unhappier. There are so many words mentioning complain here. And I also remember the senior member who taught me chanting once said, Lydia, we have to win. Buddhism is about winning. We cannot fall down or we will let down a lot of people. This is what she told me. We have to win. When we encounter obstacles and persecution, it is the more crucial that we exert ourselves with even greater determination. The more strong the wind that blows us, the more we must pass on with even stronger faith and conviction. This is the behavior of a true disciple of Nichiren Buddhism, of Nichiren Daishonin. Our study of Buddhism is something that is deepened and strengthened with the passing of time as we grow in faith and experience. The efforts you are making to study the teachings of Buddhism now are certain to illuminate your lives not only in this existence, but for all eternity. Okay, this experience is about a blind person who struggled on and became successful. She says, never give up. I was born prematurely, weighing less than 1 kilogram, only 1/3 of the weight of a full-term baby, and I was blind in both eyes due to retinal detachment. My mother became a member of the SGI when I was still a child. Growing up, My parents did not treat me differently. They encouraged me to learn and do anything that sighted people could do, such as riding a bicycle, swimming, and playing musical instruments. From kindergarten to high school, I attended regular classes, and my school provided me with braille and audio textbooks or audio software so that I could learn by touch and hearing. I tried to integrate into the everyday life, reading and playing with everyone. On graduating from high school, I received the Presidential Education Award, which is Taiwan's highest education award. I was honored by the Taichung city government for my exceptional contributions as a worker with disabilities. In 2013, the year I took the university entrance exam, I decided to take up this Buddhist practice and put it into the test in my life. Encouraged by my mother and a young woman who was also a soccer member, I left my hometown to attend university in the northern part of Taiwan. With encouragement of my senior in faith, I challenged myself through various soccer activities in the local district, such as being the MC of the large annual general meeting. When I graduated from university, I received the Principal's Award, representing over 7,000 graduates. In the summer of 2017, I began my job search. However, it is not easy for a completely blind person to find an employment other than becoming a massage therapist. I threw myself into soccer activities to keep my spirits up and was encouraged by a fellow member to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo with the conviction and determination that I would succeed, as well as praying that I would have the wisdom to handle interviews as well. I also wanted my success in securing a job to encourage the younger people in the organization. After a particularly good interview with the company, I was certain I would be hired, but I was devastated when I didn't get the job. I kept asking myself, why? At this point, I remembered something I had read by President Ikeda, that one who practices the philosophy of Nichiren Buddhism need never be defeated. I had to fight on. I will not give up. I put my sadness aside and prepared to take up the challenge of the job search again. With a renewed sense of purpose, I attended an interview for a job with the local government. A week later, I received a phone call informing me that I had been accepted as a telephone operator for the city's service line. I was overjoyed and grateful. I was the first person who is blind to be employed in our unit and was assigned to handle incoming calls from various city officers. Despite the rude remarks by some of the callers, I was able to handle the calls effectively. After a month, my supervisor trusted my ability to resolve issues and opened the hotline for me so people could find me more easily. I felt immensely grateful and happy in the trust that had been placed in me and pondered how I could create the most value in my role. I decided I would try to remember the name and service unit of everyone I spoke to over the phone. Now, this is not easy. I couldn't even remember people's name, so I admire her. Gradually, I began to receive comments from callers saying things like, "I like hearing your voice. It makes people feel energized and warm." This made me reflect on a passage that Nichiren quotes in his writing. The voice carries the work of the Buddha. Now, let me remind everybody, it's so important when we talk to people or when we answer the phone. Say, when I answer the phone, if somebody says, hello, or very sluggish, I feel very bad and I didn't want to talk to that person. But if I answer the phone and somebody says, hi, good morning, it's so different. I'm more encouraged to feel attached to this person. So this is why every time when we answer the phone, please answer with a good spirit. That will not only make you feel good, that will make other people feel good, and you will become very popular. Especially those who are in business. It's so important that you speak to everybody with a cheerful voice and a cheerful smile and a cheerful posture. Then you will be very successful. You'll be very welcomed. All right, let me go on. After working in this role for 3 years, I began to receive fewer calls as a result of policy changes. This meant that my workload was significantly reduced. Some of my some of my colleagues felt that it was unfair, that I was doing less work than them but receiving the same salary. After reflecting on this in my chanting, I decided to take the initiative. I approached my supervisor, saying that I would like to take on new tasks in the hope that I could relieve the burden on my colleagues. A week later, I had a new job and a new challenge. My new job was to call people who were dissatisfied with the city's services. I think I would like to talk to her. Find out what they actually needed and then relay the information to the relevant authorities. I felt nervous calling people, being afraid that they would be angry or abusive. To overcome this fear, I took the task seriously and decided I had to be smart and careful and do my best to understand the needs of the complainants. Now, actually, let me share with you my own experience. I was in the interior design business. And of course, with this business, a lot of people will call you to complain. And then I remember reading a book by Dale Carnegie. And he taught us how to handle complaints. And he said, whenever somebody complains to you, please do not argue. The more you argue, the more angry the other person will become, and the situation will get worse. So the thing that I was taught to say is, I understand how you feel. Of course, I would feel the same if I were in your position. Now, because you agree with the other person, then the other person softens up and everything becomes easy. And I applied this teaching to my business, and all my clients like me. So in the future, please remember, do not argue with complaints. Just listen and say, I understand. Let me see how I can help you. So this will help you solve the problem much faster. All right, let me go on. I received a lot of positive feedback for my efforts, both from my supervisors and from customers. They said I was very good at my job and very patient. These are the things that motivate the most. Apart from my work, what makes me happy is that my family is touched by the sound of my chanting every morning and evening. One day at dinner, my father, who had previously not believed in the idea that Buddhism could benefit my life, suddenly said to me, "You are very fortunate. I think this job is perfect for you and came to you as a result of your Buddhist practice. No matter what difficulties you encounter, you will always have good influences to help you." That is, the good influences, I think he means Soten Senjin. I was very touched and surprised by these words, particularly that my growth had made my family see the benefits of my Buddhist practice. I feel deep gratitude to my mother for bringing this Buddhist practice into my life, which has brought me such contentment. I want to show others there is nothing that can hold us back. Okay, so